Hello, and welcome to today's live reading of Twisted Bond by Danielle Jack, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Fit. Chapter 1, Rose. The months of preparation for this moment should mean I'm ready for anything, but my hands tremble with nerves. The lace of my corset against my back makes it hard to breathe, and with one wrong move, my breasts are going to burst out. I'm not a lady, and I've never pretended to be one until now, but it was the only way to get inside my enemy's magical realm. Sugar plum essence ripens the air. The Dutchman's kingdom is rich with magic, and it's mouth-watering. I licked my lips, wishing I could bottle some of the intoxicating smell. The medieval castle is the making of a fairy tale. It's surrounded by a moat which usually keeps strays like me out. Not today, though. I have a personally addressed invitation. My footsteps echo as I cross the drawbridge. The two guards don't even give me a second glance. For a second, this feels too easy. The steward in charge of my bags must have already handled the security. Inside the castle walls, the gardens spread out for miles on either side of the stone towers. I take my time walking deeper into enemy territory. Stepping inside is only the start of my journey, and I can't afford to make a mistake. Keeping my cool could save my life. I keep my breathing shallow as I enter the great white hall. It's the meeting place for all of the guests. The room is filled with native Dutchmen. They chatter between themselves as their gazes latch onto me. I try to ignore the prying eyes. The gold Corinthian pillars are beautiful, but I wish I could move into the shadows behind them. Usually, I like to be a wallflower rather than a bold dahlia. My coven lives a modest life without witchcraft, although it's not by choice. We don't have the luxury of grand castles or flamboyant greetings. We've been cursed by these very people, and I'm here to set things right. That's why I need to make a good impression. If I slip under the radar, I might be able to avoid suspicion and explore the Dutchman realm. 4 other women about my age gather in the center of the room. Each one is elegant and beautiful in their own unique way. These must be the other guests. I edge towards them, knowing my place. This is it. I need to convince all these people I'm just like these other women for my plan to work. If this corset wasn't cutting off my blood supply, I might be too nervous to intrude deep into enemy land, but I'm struggling not to pass out. I'm going to kill Sylvie, my elder sister, for making me wear a full traditional ball gown with an over-the-top bouffant skirt when a simpler dress would have been sufficient. Each of the women standing with me wears an exquisite gown. Instead of extra fabric, they are decorated in flowers. The vibrant colors are eye-catching. Will I be discovered as an imposter? The trumpets play, and I take the place marked out by a tiny piece of tape. The upbeat tune has everyone looking towards the double doors. Sylvie's words run through my mind. Stay focused, don't look around, and above all, don't fidget. I'm the youngest sister of 2, and even though I protested, Sylvie sent me anyway. I'm the same age as Prince Titan of the Dutchman coven, and she saw this as an opportunity to get me inside the magical wards. I study a tiny mud stain on the crisp checked floor, wondering if I caused the imperfection. My dusky pink dress covers my off-white shoes, and checking would go against Sylvie's rules. I clasp my hands behind my back and stand tall. I can do this. Her Royal Highness, Queen Catapult and Prince Titan of the Dutchman land, the announcer shout, followed by a few more trumpets playing an introductory piece. The room seems to freeze like everyone is holding their breath. After a pause, the royals enter the room with poise and elegance, and my heart beats faster. I focus on the queen as her narrowed eyes glance over me and the 4 other women. My blonde ringlets and cheap jewelry suddenly don't feel enough to impress. I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. I'm going to fail. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, Queen Catapult says, and the audience applauds. Her gray hair is pulled back into a tight triple bun stack. It's held together with gold chopsticks, which looks effortless, even though I bet she's particular about every detail. Her bronze dress has a bouffant finish like mine, only it looks sharper and more together. Everything about the way she looks says she's in control of this kingdom. As you know, my son has now come of age and needs a wife. The search will begin tonight, and these fine ladies are of the highest breeding. The crowd listens intently. There's a brief pause after she finishes speaking, and then they break into loud claps. I try not to wrinkle my nose in distaste. It feels like a timed performance. Fake. I may be a wolf, but I'm worth more than my pedigree. Being of royal blood doesn't give moral fiber. Step forward, young lady, the queen commands. The woman on the other end of the line does as she asks. Name? Lily, Lily of the Meadow family, your majesty, she mumbles. Her copper hair falls over her shoulder as she looks down. Speak clearly, child. What are your interests and special gifts? Queen Catapult's tone has already turned condescending. She doesn't think of us as women. We're girls, and she's ready to put us down. I like gardening, and I have the power to help Mother Nature make plants grow, Lily says boldly. Her family must have given her instructions, but it's obvious she's shy by the way her head dips too low after speaking. The queen laughs, and Lily's pale cheeks turn pink. How original, she says in a mocking tone. I squeeze my fist, annoyed by Lily being judged so poorly. She beckons the next girl forward. Already the queen seems bored. Name? I glance at the prince for the first time to see how he's reacting to the scene that's unfolding. His eyes aren't on Lily or girl number 2. He's looking at me with curiosity. I wonder what he thinks of my reaction. I'm not a good actress, and the queen is getting under my skin. His ice blue eyes and stern features are beautiful, but not kind. He isn't amused by his mother's taunt, but he doesn't stop her either. If anything, he looks disinterested. So why is he looking at me? My sister had warned me he would be handsome but cold, and it was a good assessment of him. His dirty blonde hair hangs wildly. He's wearing a smart white shirt, yet he looks untamed. I can't deny he's attractive, even though I should hate him with every fiber of my being. His family stole everything from me. I'm Daisy of the Wildflower family, your majesty. She curtsies with a spring in her step. Like her name, she's bright and cheerful. Her white dress is beaded with fine yellow detail. She looks like a freshly picked flower from the world garden. The queen looks her over. And your talents are? Her nose stays up in the air as she narrows her eyes. Music, ma'am. I can play the flute and make the flowers and animals dance to the melody. Daisy's smile is wide, and I'm waiting for the queen's cruelty to offset her happiness. And what about the clarinet? Can you play that? Her perfectly shaped eyebrow arches. I don't think there's a right answer. The queen seems shamefully cruel. No, sorry, ma'am. Her smile turns into a grimace, but soon peeks back through. Such a shame. She shakes her head, dismissing Daisy. Next, a tall, slim lady with purple velvet dress steps towards the queen. Her bushy black hair stays perfectly still. She doesn't seem as eager to impress. Or maybe she considers herself more highly. I'm Belladonna from the Nightshade family, your majesty. My specialty is potion. Her voice is smooth and deadly. The queen smiles for the first time and gives her a satisfied nod before beckoning the next victim. Come forward, child, and speak. I'm Ghost of the Orchid family, your majesty. My special talent is necromancy. Her skin looks almost translucent. The hairs on my arms stand on end from the softness of her tone. The queen's smile widens more. She's clearly in awe of Ghost's talent. Even I'm impressed with these women. My coven doesn't have royalty, only a voted leader. Granted, Marcus wouldn't be my first choice, but he doesn't make people feel bad for not having a strong heritage. I scribbled my story on my palm earlier so I wouldn't freeze up, but now I feel like it's not good enough. I'm supposed to spin a story about controlling the colors. Roses come in many shades, and I'm apparently a descendant of a coven of mood influencers. Although I'm impressed with their gifts, I doubt these people will be. The queen's eyes turn to me, and I step forward too hastily. The delight she felt towards Ghost turns to a frown. She won't be dazzled with the inked answers on my hand. Bile rises up my throat. Nobody can save me now. It's down to me. My palms begin to sweat through my gloves. I must not fidget. Taking a deep breath, I set my fate. I'm Rose of the Thorn family, your majesty. My interests include making jam, and I'm a talented sword fighter. I'd say telling mostly the truth of who I am, rather than the bullshit story my sister told me to fabricate. A stunned gasp echoes around the hall. Will she be amused or angry? Probably the latter, but this bold move might save me later. Jam making I can prove. Mood setting with colors, I'll never be able to do. The queen won't respect my answer because of its lack of magic, but I'm struggling to control my emotions. Seeing Queen Catapult toy with these women is making me angry. She isn't looking for a simple girl to marry her son. I'm hoping she'll overlook me but not kick me out. I've been told by my people she's only interested in power. Whoever got me an audience in these lands must have lied about my capabilities. I have no magic of my own. Not yet, anyway. If asked to prove myself, I wouldn't be able to make even a spark fly from my fingertips. If she thinks I'm humble or secretive, it might buy me some time. If I'm underestimated, even better. The whole room pauses, waiting for the queen's reaction. But it's the prince who laughs, followed by the audience. She moves closer to me to examine my physique. You're a pretty little thorn. It would be a shame to see you wilted. I try not to react. My pulse beats loud in my ears. Am I going to regret my defiance? Are we done here, mother? The prince asks in a bored tone. His laugh is gone as he stares at me. My chest rises and falls faster than I'd like. Is he trying to help me? No, that would be silly. He doesn't know me, and if he did, he wouldn't be friendly. I've just insulted the queen by not pandering to her. She's not interested in any of these girls' moral fiber, only that they are fertile and have influential magic. The queen turns her attention to her son. Don't you want to dance with any of these young ladies? The potential suitors stand taller. It looks like each of them wants to be picked. Personally, I'd like this night to be over so I can go back to my room. No, he replies without looking at any of us. A worried frown appears on each of their faces. Depriving his guests of his attention, he turns to leave the great white hall. A few of the ladies step forward like they're going to try and stop him. I stay firmly on my spot. We've been invited to stay for a few weeks to try and get to know the prince. So it's an overreaction on their part. He only said he didn't want to dance, not that he was sending us all home. The queen waves her hands, signaling we're all dismissed. The nerves I felt have calmed into relief. Pretending to be a suitor for the prince was a stupid idea. I should have snuck into the Dutchman's land as a maid or something. Sylvie might have been able to impress the prince, but not me. It's a shame she's too old. I love being out in the woods and exploring new places, not being stuck indoors. I'm hardened to fit my environment. All of this feels like a game. I don't want to play pretend like these people. I have no desire to be a princess. My sister's plan was a foolish one, and I will tell her so when I see her. She might have thought she was too old to be a suitor, but at least she can hold her tongue under pressure. Her plan got me inside the realm, but not unnoticed. My face has been seen by most of the coven, and I'm doubtful my disguise is good enough to impress anyone. Once the kingdom is asleep, I'll start searching for the moonstone that can break my curse so I can get the hell out of this land. The trumpets play an upbeat tune as the grand doors open and the queen starts to leave. Her footsteps glide across the floor as she exits. Most of the people haven't recoiled from the shock. The queen organized an evening for her guests, and she's leaving after such a short amount of time. Their mouths hang open like they're lost for words. Guards, the prince says, capturing my attention. We stare at each other for a few seconds until he continues to speak. Take the thorn girl to the dungeon. I want to see how she survives. A satisfied smile creeps onto his face, and I can't fight my scowl. Does he think I'm fragile? I can handle a night in a cell. Everyone else fades out. It's me and him. He might think I'll beg for forgiveness or weep in despair, but he'll be disappointed. I don't react. We stare at each other for longer than necessary. His smile weakens. Maybe my scowl does too. The trumpets come to the end of their song. Silence washes over us. Someone coughs loudly, breaking the moment. He turns and follows his mother from the room. The other ladies gasp in horror, but I'm not used to their level of luxury. Being thrown into the dungeon will hamper my plan to snoop around, but other than that, I don't care where I sleep. They offer clenched half smiles of sympathy before heading out of the hall. I'm approached by the guards who were opening the doors. The one with the ginger mustache gestures for me to start walking. At least I'm not being chained up. I hold my head high and follow them. The lavish decor grows cold as we descend into the cellar. Thick spider webs coat the forgotten wooden shelves. Fire torches We'll light our way through rows of full wine racks until we reach the belly of the beast. The dungeon is empty other than a mouth that runs into a nearby haystack. The leading guard opens one of the metal doors with a key from his belt. Without looking any of them in the eye, I step in.